Today's guest is Professor Montoya Lloyd, and she is a marketing professor at ASU and serves as the faculty director of the professional sales program. She holds a PhD and an MBA from ASU and brings industry experience from her time at Procter & Gamble. Her research focuses on consumer behavior and multicultural marketing, and she's been widely recognized for her impact as an educator, most recently receiving a 2024 to 2025 Outstanding Undergraduate Teaching Award. Stay tuned to learn more about Professor Montoya Lloyd. This week's episode is sponsored by Back Projects, and this is a message from them. Ever backed a project online and wondered if you would actually get what you paid for, or had a big idea but worried people would not trust it? Back Projects is a new crowdfunding platform built around accountability and protection. Unlike traditional platforms where creators receive all funds upfront, Back Project holds excess funds and releases them as real progress is made. If a project succeeds, creators unlock additional funding. If it falls short, backers receive a portion refunded. We are creating a safer, smarter way for college entrepreneurs to launch ideas and for students to support projects with confidence. Follow along on their journey and help us bring back accountability back to crowdfunding. Thank you so much for being here today. We're so happy to have you on the Prof-ile podcast. We'll go ahead and get started. If you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be a professor here at ASU.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. And yeah, I became a professor here in 2012. I'm actually a two-time ASU grad. And when I graduated in 2006 with my PhD in marketing, I moved up to Seattle. I was a professor up at University of Washington for 6 years, and I never thought I would come back. And I always tell students, you know, don't ever think you won't come back, because you will. And I had an opportunity to come back to ASU. My family lives here, so I moved back here in 2012, and I've been here ever since. And I love it. I love it.
I mean, how could you not? And you do always find your way back home, for
yes,
sure.
Yes.
So you are from here. You mentioned what specific city?
Well, actually, I'm originally from Southern California, and my family moved out here, like many people, right? Like, there's so many transplants here. Moved out here twice, but like in junior high. So I actually graduated. I'm a local grad from Mesa High School, and I don't know if I should say this or not, but I will. I went to U of A for my undergrad. I know. I came back. I came back. So
you found the right.
I found
the right
school. The path up. But and then so I was at U of A and then moved up here, and then got my MBA at night while I was working full time, and then the PhD. So
cool.
I am a Sun Devil.
Yes, absolutely love it. So what did you study while in school?
I majored in finance. The reason I majored in finance is kind of fun because I love marketing, but I was interning with Procter & Gamble at the time, and my 18-year-old self was like, well, I don't need a major in marketing. I've got marketing experience with P&G. So in my mind, I had like a marketing and a finance degree, but I did major in finance, but found my way back to marketing.
Very cool. So talking a little bit about the courses you teach, can you tell us about that?
Sure. So I teach both undergraduate and graduate level, but I'll talk about the undergrad classes. I teach marketing 455, brand management, and I actually built that class. So when I came back in fall 2012, that was the first time we had taught it. It started off as a 494 and then morphed into 455. So love that class, and we work with a lot of companies. So I started off with some smaller companies, and I have since moved into some larger companies. So every fall I work with PepsiCo. So they give me 2 brands. They give me a snack brand from the Frito-Lay side, and then a beverage brand. So for example, last fall we worked with Mountain Dew and Lay's.
Nice.
And then the spring I'll kind of mix it up a little bit. I have for the last few years been working with an ice cream brand, and Bubby's ice cream. And so that's been a lot of fun. And in fact, just earlier today, we were out at a tour of their manufacturing sites. So I'm just coming off my sugar high from lots of ice cream sampling. But that's a lot of fun. And then I work with a lot of, different types of companies. Actually, this semester too, I'm working with a local skateboard shop. So it's a skateboard shop in Scottsdale. It's called Sidewalk Surfer. And they were recently recognized as a top 50 clothing company by the New York Times.
Wow.
So it's surprising because you think about all the amazing shops you have in Scottsdale. And they have really unique clothing. So one of the highlights I'll talk about 455 is that we take field trips. So in addition to visiting the ice cream manufacturing plant, we actually went out to the skateboard shop. So the owner closed the shop on a Sunday at 6 p.m. and students came out to the shop and got to visit with the owner. And so it was a lot of fun. And then I also teach 410, so sales management. So that I've been teaching that for the last few years, both online and in person. And I also bring in companies in that class as well. So each of the teams works with a different company and puts together a sales management plan for them. So
fantastic. Cool. So what inspired you to go into your field of study?
Great question. It was interesting when I was thinking about getting a PhD. I actually thought I was going to get into management. Okay. And I'll never forget, I was living here in Arizona and I went to see one of my ASU marketing professors, and I was chatting with him and telling him that I was really interested in getting a PhD in management. And he finally just jumped in. He's like, Deetra, just stop. I have to just stop you. You have to do marketing. Marketing's just, I think, the right fit for you. And I just laughed. And then I thought about it. I'm like, he's right. So, love teaching, love the field of marketing. And I'm able to bring in some of my work experience with P&G. So bringing that to life. I like to tell students, like, when you are a professor, you get to study and research anything that you really want to. Mm-hmm. So I get to pursue research projects in fields and topics that I love. So why not? I mean, this is a dream job.
Absolutely. I love that. Well said. And it just shows you how pivotal professors and teachers, educators are. I mean, I know I came to you when I was dealing with some job offers and stuff. So it just shows that one teacher can really make an impact on you. So I love that story. Can you tell us a little bit about the research that you and Professor Nelson are conducting?
Sure. So Professor Julie Nelson and I actually received a teaching grant from W.P. Carey a little over a year ago. And we are exploring ethical decision-making in sales. Mm-hmm. So as you can imagine, in any field and anywhere, right, you're going to be faced with ethical decisions, but it's really important in sales. Mm-hmm. So we actually are drawing upon two different frameworks. The first one is principled innovation. So this was based here at ASU, and it started in the teaching college. And essentially, principled innovation asks, just because we should we? Mm-hmm. Just because you can, should you? Mm-hmm. And it's think about it, it's like, what is the impact of your decisions? Right. So ASU's number one in innovation, right? We continue to innovate, but are we innovating in a principled way? So are we thinking about the impact that innovation will have on others, the community? How are we going about innovation? Are we using data? Being factual data. So thinking about like the moral aspects, moral, civic, performance, and intellectual are the four characteristics with principled innovation. So we wanted to draw from that framework and think about how could that come into play with ethical decision making. Mm-hmm. The other framework is giving voice to values. So how, once we know the path that we want to take and, the right path to take, how do we voice those values? So one is understanding what our values are and then being able to voice them. What I love about giving voice to values, it really focuses in on scripting. So you think about when, and I've done it too, like if you have a really difficult decision a really difficult conversation you want to have, you might go through that in your head a little bit, write it down, think about it, try to be more factual, using more data. That's what giving voice to values would help and steer individuals in a way that's they've scripted, they've thought through it, they've gotten input, they've thought about their values and think about now how can I act on those values. So we brought both giving voice to values and principles of innovation in together to look at ethical decision making in sales. So as you know, you're in my class, and So we presented these topics in class, and then we had the students do a role play where they were faced with an ethical decision in sales. And then we talked about how they could incorporate these frameworks into that decision making. So, we're still, working through the research. It's a lot of fun, and we hope to not only have an impact in the classroom, but take that out into, corporate and test that out with our corporate partners.
And I'll always keep that kind of framework and that concept in the back of my mind as I go into the real world.
Well,
so
good.
It's a great topic that you guys are researching. So love that. Outside of academia, what are some of your hobbies and interests?
Well, besides grading, prepping, I love to travel. So when I can, love to travel. I enjoy cooking. So my husband and I will enjoy cooking and, trying out new cuisines, new restaurants, and just spending time with my family. So
yeah. What's a favorite dish you've made?
Favorite dish I've made?
Type of food that you like?
Well, of course, I love making Mexican food. So my husband loves my empanadas. So, and there's a Cuban dish I love. It's called ropa vieja, which I love to make. So
awesome.
And tostones. Those are plantains, fried plantains.
Okay.
Actually, that might be my favorite.
Very cool. I might have to snag that recipe from you after this. Okay, so we're going to kind of switch to more of the course education-based questions. Sure. If you want to kind of talk about your teaching philosophy and how would you describe your teaching style?
Sure. So I'm very hands-on, and I feel like students learn in many different ways, but I bring in a lot of applied projects in my class. So we'll go through the theory and the concepts, but now, after then I want students to apply it. So now you've learned these concepts, now apply it to this brand project, for example. Okay, we've talked about brand strategies, we've talked about brand extensions, line extensions, digital strategies. Okay, now you have a real project to work on. Let's apply that. So I do that really across all of my classes, and that's been a cornerstone of my teaching. So even when I first started teaching at University of Washington, they hired me to teach a consulting class. So I managed it was a lot, 16 projects like in one quarter. So 2 sections, 8 teams in each class. Each team had a different company they worked with. And I just loved it, right? And it was real world learning for the students. So I've just brought that with me, and I've, for almost 20 years that I've been teaching, I think just having students apply what they learn, more hands-on, very engaging. I have a flipped classroom now in my 455 brand management, where students watch, or they should be watching the videos before they come to class, but then when they come to class, then they can apply the concepts. So they work with their teams, they complete worksheets in class, we discuss them. There's like a I call it branding in the news. It's like a current events assignment. And again, like, how do you apply the concepts? So I don't want them to just focus on memorizing a definition, but like, okay, now that I understand the concept, how could I use that? And I think that would help prepare them as they're, move on to careers when they graduate.
Absolutely. And I also note that the hands-on experiences are physical artifacts that students can add to their portfolio and talk about in interviews or whatnot, versus here's a fake client. It's like you actually have physical real work to show too. So
no, absolutely. And yes, and many students have added that onto their resumes. I see it in LinkedIn, especially if they don't have a lot of other work experience, and I encourage them to talk about it in an interview. So
100%. Good. Do you want to you kind of already mentioned it, but maybe discuss more of the assignments that students can expect to receive? Are there exams, group work, short assignments, kind of stuff like that?
All of the above. Yes, so there are exams. So in both of my classes, I'll have exams. Let's start with brand management. Because it's a flipped class, I use PlayPosit. So there are quiz questions that are embedded in the videos, just to ensure that the students are understanding the concepts as they're watching the videos. And then in that class, we do, where they have worksheets to do. So they can complete them with their teams. One of my favorite assignments is that each team in that class comes up with their own brand identity. So again, here's the applied aspect where they would apply the concepts of building a brand. So think about coming up with a brand name that's meaningful, likable, memorable. So they come up with their name, their logo. Sometimes I've got jingles. So this past semester, I had a couple teams that brought in some really cool jingles and sounds. So that's a lot of fun. But they also work on that comprehensive brand analysis. So I'll bring in that real company into class. They have a couple of assignments. And at the end of the semester, they get to present to the business owner or marketing team. So while other classes are fabulous in that you work, on a company, but you might not have the opportunity to actually present to them. In my class, you have the marketing leaders come in, and there are times where the companies will tell me hey, we took those ideas and we're able to implement them. So It's amazing. In sales management, the teams work on a sales management project. So what that looks like is they work with a company, and again, another real company will come in, and they have to put together a plan for the company and how they work with their Gen Z employees. So it's relevant for the students because it's okay, what would I like in terms of sales training? What type of sales training methodologies would resonate best for me? But the companies love it because it's hey, here's a great opportunity for us to learn how Gen Z wants to be trained, or how do we motivate them? How do we incentivize them? So it's a really good learning opportunity. So the teams have to learn to schedule interviews with the company reps, and they have to learn that they can't reach out the day before the assignments due because they might actually be busy. Right. So all of that's part of the learning. You asked about my teaching philosophy or approach, and one of the things I tell students is this is the safe place. The classroom is a safe place to learn. If they make a mistake, we can talk about it. I can coach them on it. They can go back and reschedule an interview. When they get out in the real world, now they've gotten a mortgage, they have car payments, they have rents, if you miss an appointment with a client, there are more significant consequences to that than in class where your professor pulls you aside and talks through it with you and how you can improve.
Yeah, 100%. How can students get the most out of your class? We kind of are getting to that aspect. Maybe if you want to talk a little bit more.
I think coming prepared, being engaged, being open to learn, open to feedback. That's one thing that comes up a lot in my sales management class when they learn about what companies, what skill sets and companies are looking for. It's coachability. So being able to take feedback, to adapt, to learn, work with teams. Some students are oh, okay, it's another team, but guess what? In the real world, you're going to be working in teams and companies, and you don't always get to pick who you work with. So you have to learn to work with different styles, different personalities, learn how to pull out the strengths of each one of those team members.
Absolutely. Just talking about what career paths can marketing or sales majors pursue after college. Are there any that maybe don't come to top of mind that students should be aware of?
Sure. Well, I'll start, in terms of the marketing side, there's so many different types of marketing roles out there. So whether you're, if you're working with a large company, you could come in a more entry-level marketing position from, any kind of marketing manager, marketing coordinator. For the smaller companies, you could actually take on bigger roles. So even with the brand management, if it's a smaller company, they might not have a whole brand team, but they could have a marketing manager that's managing brands. Right. So I think taking that skill set into a company is really valuable. In sales, there's so many different types of sales roles, whether inside sales, outside sales, which means, are you going out to visit your clients, or are you on the phones, or, on Zoom and meetings? So you can, be a business development representative. You can get into account management. You can get into a sales support role. So there's a lot of different types of roles out there.
Tons and tons. And even, sales and marketing are just naturally good skills to have.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, best advice for students to get the most out of their college experience.
Oh, I would say get involved and be open to many different experiences, and definitely try new things. So I've seen so many students over the years that will come back to me and say, I'm really glad I tried this. For example, with our sales program, we have some smaller sales competitions. So I'll encourage students to try them. It's a 3-minute sales role play. And, many will tell me, like, I've never done this. I'm nervous. It's totally out of my comfort zone. And I'll tell them that's good. That's when you learn the most, is when you try something different and new. So I think just putting yourself out there, try something new. Yes, you might get nervous. Sometimes students will come to me and say, well, but you look so comfortable in front of the classroom. I'm like, well, but I wasn't when I started. Like when I was a student, like, sure, I get nervous, and I still do. Oh my goodness, if I have to give a presentation or speak in front of 200 people, I take my deep breaths before I go up. And so, but that's when you learn the most. And so I think just being open, get involved, join clubs. And when you're in the club, don't just be a member, but get into a leadership position. Mm-hmm. So I think just getting involved. And then also the other piece too, I did a little bit of this. I probably could have done more. Get to know your professors. Mm-hmm. Your professors are great resources. We have a lot of contacts. Later on, you might need a letter of recommendation. And it's really hard when you go back and say, I know I didn't talk to you in class. Mm-hmm. Maybe you remembered me. I'll write the letters. They're a little bit harder versus somebody like you, Abby, who's been in my class. I'd be happy to write a letter for you because I've gotten to know you. So, so reach out.
Yes, good. So you did kind of mention kind of your involvement with the professional sales program. Excuse me. Can you just talk a little bit more about that and your role?
Sure. So we started the sales program here probably around 2014. So I've been involved since. I'm the faculty director of the professional sales program. I'm also the faculty advisor for the Pro Sales Club.
Busy.
Yes. And it's grown so much. It's so exciting. You can imagine, like, when we first started, so many students were like, I don't want to get in sales. Like, I don't want to go door to door, which is one type of sales, but, we really focus in more on B2B. Mm-hmm. And, fast forward 10, 12 years, and we've had so many students get great jobs and get promoted. We have sales managers. We have, VPs of sales now. So it's just incredible. We have career fairs. We have sales competitions. I coach student teams. So that's a lot of fun. In fact, in a few weeks, I'll be flying out to Miami with 2 students who are going to be competing in a competition. So that's a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Yeah. Tons of great events that you guys host. I mean, yes. I've attended a couple of the career fairs and actually got connected to who ended up being the company that I accepted my job at. So definitely,
here's another success story, right?
That's just a testament to who's ever watching. Definitely go, kind of the advice you said for students, go to things because you never know who you're going to meet or how it's going to, be a part of your journey.
Yeah, that's a great point. I just want to emphasize that you never know who you meet. You never know, who they may know. So, or for example, you may be working with one company now, down the road, maybe you're working with the company, that's my dream job, right? And now I have that connection. Or maybe you can just help create, open doors, network, practice with it, for an interview. So you just never know.
Building community.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Cool. So we're kind of wrapping up to the last question. What is the most rewarding part about being a WP Carey professor?
I love that question. I love my job, right? I absolutely love being here with the students. It's so rewarding. It is so rewarding when a student reaches out and tells me about a job that he or she just landed, or someone says, I got a job because I went to a career fair that you encouraged me to go to. One of my favorite stories, one of my former students was nervous about doing a sales pitch competition, and we talked about it, and I encouraged her to do it, and she went and gave her pitch, and there was a company in the room that she wanted to work with, and they ended up offering her an internship because she gave that pitch. She interned there, and then later on, another company found her on LinkedIn because she had that experience, and now that's where she's at, and she's done great. And she'll say, it's because I tried something. And so I love these types of stories. I love seeing my students succeed. There's nothing better, right? It's so rewarding. So that's my favorite part, the students.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Great answer. Oh, that warmed my heart a lot. Awesome. So that wraps us up for the main questions. We do have the fun segment of rapid fire.
Okay, cool.
So if you're ready, we'll just go
Let's
and
go.
get started.
Yeah, let's go.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Good choice. Window or aisle seat?
Aisle.
Musical theater or concert?
Concert.
Okay. Friends or Seinfeld?
Seinfeld.
Okay. Pepsi or Coke?
Neither.
Ooh, well, that's probably good for you.
Neither. I'll say coffee.
Hot dog or hamburger?
Cheeseburger.
Okay, we should maybe add that into the questions. That's a good one we left out. Ice cream in a cup or a cone?
Okay, so I eat it in a cup, but I really would love to have it in a waffle cone, but I'm trying to be good, so I'll say cup.
Okay. Talk or listen?
Oh, I definitely talk more than I listen.
Salespeople, right? We're just constantly yapping. History or science?
Science.
Okay. Podcasts or books?
Podcast.
Okay, good choice. Because we're on one right now, but yeah. Saving or spending?
Saving.
Nice. Okay, and that's all the questions. So we really appreciate your time, and thanks for sharing your insights, your teaching philosophy, and also a little bit more about you. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.